Hello everyone, it's been a very long time since I posted my last video, but we are back. So this is Solaxisflauna. We did a little bit of rebrand. We used to be called Solaxis Reptiles, but because of our expanding interests, we pretty much rebranded into Solaxisflauna. So today I'm gonna guide you through how to make fruit fly cultures with our gallon fortified mineral and vitamin rich fruit fly culture media. So this is something you get on our website, Solaxisflauna.com. That is in the link in my channel. But without further ado, let's get through some brief explanations. So this is one of our two types of fruit fly cultures we have. This is the Heidii, and here is the melanogaster. So these are the regular small fruit flies you always see. You could see that this media is a little watery. We do not want this today. This was more of a trial experiment that we did. It still produced flies, but it's a little bit runnier than I would prefer. So we're gonna make some cultures of both. I think we're gonna make, I'm just gonna demonstrate one. And right now I have a couple of cups here. These are just standard 32-ounce deli cups. And I'm gonna go grab a spoon for some mixing. Here's the cup. We're gonna start with the Heidii. Okay, first things first. I'm gonna do this all in one take because it's a very simple video, but I just wanted to make a couple important points here. So again, this is has all types of minerals in there. I do have a master's in biochemistry. I did take a lot of comparative physiology, so I know I have a pretty strong understanding of what I'm doing. This has very little degradable protein. Most of the protein is living, and there's no fat in here. Because a lot of protein sources that people decide to use for their feeders, such as roaches, tend to be high in fat, such as dog food for Beta lateralis. A lot of people use that. I really don't recommend it because these feeder roaches, and apologies in advance for the tangent, the feeder roaches are very well known to be able to be gut loaded. Now, here's the issue with gut loading, right? If you fill up the feeders with bad stuff, it's actually worse for your animal than something that's harder to gut load, like a mealworm. So be careful about what you put into your feeders before feeding to your animals. If it's something bad for your animals, it's gonna be worse the more of that the insect could actually store in their bodies. And that is one of the major reasons I found that people get a lot of gout in their reptiles, because they feed roaches that have been eating dog food or a great amount of polyacrylamide, and that makes them get sick. Anyways, no further ado, let's get this shown on the road. So we have this cup here, and much like a protein powder jar, when you purchase one of these from us, there's gonna be a little cup inside, a measuring cup. It's gonna measure 2 ounces. You're just gonna have to dig through and find the cup. Hopefully it's not too far down. So we are back, and I just wanted to show you guys exactly what ratios you put in. So sorry about the messy cup. We're gonna take the scooper that's included, or the 2 ounce measuring cup. What you're gonna do is you're gonna measure 3 of the media, the dry media, or 2. It's more about the ratio than the actual amount. But I do like putting 3 in there for longer lasting cultures. And then I do 2 cups, or 2 ounce cups of water, like so. Just like that. Now, we are gonna mix very well. Perfect. Just gonna mix it thoroughly until it kind of looks like this. And this is the perfect ratio. So 2 cups of media, 3 to 2 media water. And again, there is some variance on this, because if you are during very hot temperatures, it might evaporate faster. But I don't even think that's true, because as you know, or some people would know, higher temperatures also cause higher rates of decomposition, and decomposition reactions usually also release water. Um, so it's less about the temperature also, but because of the special excelsior we use, because it's very thick like this, it does enhance the wick effect, so it will help with moisture regulation. So keep that in mind. It's a lot more forgiving, but you just add it like this. Around that much media will have a culture last multiple weeks, as long as it's not too dry. What you're gonna do next is take your starting culture and shake a good amount of flies in there. Now, if you put too many flies in there, it's gonna crash faster. Put too little, it's gonna get overrun with mold or mites or whatever, stuff like that. So make sure you have enough flies to start out with, but it's not overwhelming. Now you could tap this down to make sure the flies don't escape, and then just secure the lid. I like to be a little careful with it because some of the cups will snap. So just kind of ease it, find out, like, just put firm pressure and just snap it on like that. And there you go, you have a culture. You could do the same thing with melanogaster. It's exactly the same. Of course, you'll have to play around with how many flies you start with, but this is a new culture, and we typically sell these cultures around 3 days old, and that's enough time for them to have laid eggs, but not enough time for them to have emerged as larvae. And the reason why we do this, or there may be some larvae in there, but they certainly don't have any pupa. And the reason we do this is during shipping, you can't guarantee it's going to be always right side up. So over time, if they have a bunch of pupa inside and you have it on the side, the media will drown the pupa, and you definitely don't want that. So 3 to 4 days is optimal to ship these, and it also gives ample time. So by the time it's at their place, it's very close to being productive. So that's a huge bonus from us. This is filled with vitamins and everything, good for your animals too. I mean, when it comes to breeding feeders, less so with fruit flies, but more so with roaches and stuff like that. A lot of breeders, not like nothing specifically, especially people that only sell the feeders, are more interested in maximizing their numbers rather than worrying about quality. The reason being, it's understandable because they expect the customer to gut load and everything for them. But based on my background, I just prefer to do everything for the customer and offer a great deal on these. So I believe that these are just around $10. So pretty standard for fruit flies, but I would say we have the Excelsior that enables you to have a lot more longevity in the cultures. And it's just, I really stand by this media. You could grab an entire gallon. We do sell these by the gallon. You can see I did make 4 cultures today, and we pretty much barely scratched the surface of this. I would estimate you could probably make 40 cultures with this. So that's an estimate. Maybe more, maybe less, but yeah, melanogaster is pretty much simple. And just as a side, I do apologize for being very media silent from formerly Solaxis Reptiles for such a long time. I've been very busy, but very active in the hobby, working on many different projects. And I've shifted my focus, again, which hence the name change. So we still have a lot of experience. I've bred chameleons, all sorts of animals. But right now I'm geared towards more exotic inverts rather than reptiles. But who knows where we're gonna head next. Now, one thing I do have to make clear is that everything sold on our website is produced in-house at my facility or my business associates, one of their facilities. We do not ever, unless very clearly stated, sell animals or buy animals for resale. for the purpose of resale. So everything, fruit fly cultures, flake soul, everything is produced by us. So please be patient with our inventory. We do not buy low and sell high, because I feel like that kind of thing. I'm not gonna accuse anyone or say is ethically wrong. That's so the point. I feel that when you're arguing those margins, you have a bigger incentive to be a little bit more lax on the quality, right? Like if I was buying the fruit flies for $2 and trying to sell them for $10, hypothetically, I don't think you could ever. I think the materials alone is way more than that, but hypothetically, I have no incentive if I'm gonna sell at $10 to go any to give them any better care. But everything we produce is in-house, and I make these cultures for my personal use too. And this is the exact same recipe as I use for all my plants and all my animals that eat fruit flies. And I formulated it, and I do have extensive knowledge of biochemistry, as I have a master's in it from university. And I also have a background in comparative physiology from my undergrad, so I do know quite a bit about this. And you'll probably hear me rambling in a lot of videos about my own theories and published papers, and I don't want to bore you guys more with the academia talk and stuff like that, but I do think it's important to at least tell you guys what I think. So again, apologies for the tangent and rambling on, but apologies for not being very active on social media, but we're back, and look forward to a lot more guides on how-tos. Again, there are some publics, like this recipe, this formula I've made is proprietary, but I could tell you generally how to make it if you just want to save money and do it from home. So instead, if you're not worried about vitamins or minerals or whatever, and you just want something just flies, you could replace this entire thing with what do you call it? With potato flour or just potato flakes. Some vinegar and water, and it will produce some. It won't produce as well as I have in my experience, but you certainly can produce some. And I also publicly share the basic formula for a flake oil, because I think it displays a certain degree of confidence in my product as well as helping other people make their own. Because if I didn't believe my product and the quality of my product, I would be threatened by sharing this information, at least from a business standpoint. But because I'm so confident that my products have been well thought through and well researched, with a lot of thought and time put into it, I'm more than willing to share how most people make their formulas. It's very easy. Some people, honestly, they put like Repashy Calcium Plus and mix it into potato flour and call it enhanced with vitamins, but I don't think that's the best way to do it. I've also worked with carnivorous plants, and they're a little bit more touchy on the minerals, so I try to steer clear from that, but it's pretty much the same idea. I mean, if you guys have an idea and want to start with it, I'm not stopping you, but I do really think that this is a one-size-fits-all for both invertebrate and reptile keepers, as well as carnivorous plants. So yeah, this is gonna be up on the website shortly, as well as pictures, and hopefully I'll also be able to post this video as sort of a guide on how to use our product as well. So anyways, have a great one, everyone, and if you do like the video, like and subscribe, because I will be putting out a lot of informational videos from now on. We're not doing the 3-year hiatus anymore. We are going to be putting out a lot of videos, because I have a lot of stuff to go through, and I have a very large collection of some carnivorous plants that I believe that I'm the only person with certain cultivars of it, at least in the USA, because I really don't see any of them online. So I want to keep some of those projects private, but I'll start leaking some of them, and some of the tissue culture lab stuff that I eventually want to get into, because that is some fascinating stuff. Because I'll leak a little bit. There's a little bit of so the process of cloning and plant mutations, not all tissue mutations end up in the germ cells, right? Germ cells being like gametes. So not all traits are transmissible by seed or are genetically transmissible to the offspring. Now, there is a way that you can make every single trait hypothetically germline transmissible by reverting the equivalent of somatic cells back to their equivalent of stem cells and making those cells into the base where you form an entire clone. And that will enable the entire like that new plant to have every single germ cell identical with the mutated tissue. I don't want to get into it for those who just came here for the fruit fly video, so that's another scientific thing that we could go a rabbit hole we could get into in a different video. So I'll let you guys go, but yeah, let's just stay tuned, and thanks for watching.